Welcome, folks. Welcome to Beyond Basics, where we start with basics and go beyond basics. So, this is the chapter 3 of our comprehensive Angular course. In this chapter, we will be diving deep into the form handling capabilities of Angular along with the file upload concepts. With these in place, we would be building the form builder. So, what we have done till now is we have set up our project with Angular 20, Angular Material, and Tailwind CSS. We have built a static portfolio. Then in the chapter 2, we separated the data from the design and created multiple portfolios of different personas with the same design. And here we will introduce the form builder, or basically the portfolio builder, where we will use Angular reactive forms and file upload to build our own portfolio. So the portfolio builder will look something like this. And let us check out the karmakanban.com for the live application. So here is the landing page, and this time get started would work. Last time it was not working, and here it is. So what we have here is selection for the industry, the person belong to, a hero section for a short introduction, a about section for giving his professional and academic as well as personal journeys to know the person better. Then we have skill section. He can describe it in a few words and then categorically state what skills the person exclusively have. Then we have the project section where he will be mentioning the projects he have worked on, any demo link or source link if he have, and the technology is used. And then we have the contact section where the person can input their contact details to complete the portfolio. So we would be filling up the portfolio, and let us fill it up. Okay, so we have our portfolio filled. So the industry the person belong to, we have created a dummy persona, Alice Johnson, and on behalf of the person, let us see how we will be using the portfolio builder and how will it look with our custom data. So industry we have picked is information technology. We have several options here: consumer service, education, entertainment providers, utilities, and a lot more, which I could come with. Then you have to enter the first name, last name, the professional title, and the specialization. You have an option to give the headline. The headline given is small, but you can have up to 500 characters headline. Then you would give a profile picture. In the about section, you can provide your highest professional qualification. In this case, we have provided as AWS certified solution architect. You can provide the highest professional qualification you possess, highest academic qualification. In this case, we have given MSc. You can describe your academic and professional journey. Then you can discuss your personal journeys, your hobbies, so as to know or the person better. You can give your casual or in action image for something like out of office vibe, and pronouns or genders you can provide, and the location you live in. Then we come to the skill section where you can summarize your skill first and then categorize your skill and exclusively mention which skills you are skilled with. As in this person's case, they have front-end skills, which includes JavaScript, React, Angular, HTML, CSS, In backend, they know Node.js, Express, Nest.js, MongoDB, and MySQL. And cloud and DevOps, they know AWS, Docker, and Kubernetes. In projects also, we have a project title, description, demo link if your project is live, source link for the GitHub or GitLab, whatever source control you use, if it is public, of course, and the technologies you have used. Otherwise, you can keep this demo link or source link blank. So this person has 3 projects, and then we have the contact section in which you can provide your email, phone numbers, and various social links, and click save portfolio. So it will redirect you to your portfolio page, and this would look something like this. So this is the same portfolio, the static portfolio we have built before, and it will now be created with your own data. So the name, this is the what you have given the inputs, and this is how your profile will look like. So here is the hero section, then the about section, the qualification, the skill would look like this, the projects, and we would, if someone wants to have you some message, then they can submit their queries here, or they can directly contact you with the email or the social profiles. So this is what it is currently, the current status of our portfolio project. So understanding the architecture, so what we have done and how we have organized the whole project or this component, we have a root form group, and we have divided every section into the form group of their own, so as to it would be easier to maintain in groups. So now we would be looking into the Angular form builder. So this Angular form builder is the feature in Angular which helps us create these dynamic forms. Dynamic in the sense when you previously don't know, previously not like from the beginning you are not sure about how many, in our case, how many skills you have, how many projects you have, or what technologies have you used. So these are dynamically added. Like if you have 2 projects, you would input 2. If you have 4, you will add project and you would be able to add 4 projects. So this is the dynamic nature of the portfolio or the form builder. So that is why we are using this Angular form builder. So Angular provides actually 2 types of form builder: a template driven form, in which we do most of the things in the HTML side and use the ng model thing for the data binding, and reactive forms which we have built or used in our portfolio builder. So in that we have more explicit control over this form state. The form components are basically living, or we are creating them, and HTML is only for the looks here. So let us look into the portfolio builder that we have created. So this is the code for the portfolio builder. So we have a HTML page which is responsible for the view. It's quite big, and we will grow to every unknown stuff that we encounter. And then we have the class file, which is responsible for its behavior. So let us understand how this Angular form builder works. Okay, so form builder is a service provided by the Angular that simplifies the creation of forms. So whenever in a web application we have multiple things to take input from the user, we generally use forms. And in Angular, we have this form builder concepts for the reactive forms. As we have discussed earlier, Angular gives 2 types of form. the template driven and reactive, and we are using reactive form because our form is going to be a little complex. So how do we start building a form? So Angular provides three basic classes, you can say, which help us achieve that. First is the group that creates a form group and manages the values and validation of the whole collection of forms. So suppose there is a first name, last name, whatever, all the fields is a group. Each group will have a control. So the control creates a form control which represents and manages the state of an individual form input. Suppose the first name, so this is a control, last name, that is a control, and together with the others like age, gender, occupation, everything, they create a group. And then another, we have third, is a array, that is a form array where we don't know the actual amount of inputs that are required. In case of skills, suppose someone may have 2 skills in one category. Suppose someone have 3 skills. For example, for front-end expertise, someone is giving skills only HTML and JavaScript. So there are 2 skills. Someone will add HTML, JavaScript, Angular and React. So there needs to be 4 skills. So in those cases, we can dynamically add those controls using the form array. So how do we implement this? We implement this by importing the reactive forms module and injecting the form builder. So here, as we can see in the constructor, we have injected the form builder, and with this form builder, we are creating this group, the form builder.group, and inside that we have each control like name and email. Then what are these validators? So validators are, as the name suggests, validates the input. So suppose if you are giving a plain text in email, that is not acceptable. Like the email has to be of the form something at something dot something, right? So those basic validations like name cannot be empty, things like that, or some fields may have some patterns, some fields might have some minimum or maximum requirement. That is required for a good form or to avoid bad data in the form. So in addition to these built-in validators, like we have required that something is required, other than that field, the form will not be submitted. Then we have email to check the email, min length, max length, pattern, etc. And we can, with a form group, we can assign actually a default value inside the first parameter of the array, and in the second we can assign its various validators. Like for email, we can have required, we can have a validate email, and we can have a minimum length of 5. Because for validators.email, suppose a@a.com is a valid email, so we need a minimum length also. So in addition to this, we can have custom validators. Like suppose we are asking for a LinkedIn URL, and we know that the URL will have some pattern, so the user does not give wrong value intentionally or unintentionally. We provide custom validators. Now we have nested form groups. So how the form groups will be looking like if we have multiple, like for our case, we have hero data, which is the basic introduction, then about data, the detailed information for that person, then the skill project. These are categorized in a group, and we have added these groups to a larger group. So this kind of become a nested from group structure, and we build this using group. Then we can have in this group further form groups or form controls. And how do we bind this? So we start the form as a form group. We give the master form group at the form, and then for each form control we use the form control name. Suppose we have industry here, and for each form group we create a form group sub group. Actually, this will be the form group name for the subgroup, that here hero data. And inside hero data we will again have form controls, which will be again controlled with the form control name. And as we have discussed, form array for dynamic content. Like in the skill data, we don't know how many categories of the skills we would be requiring. Or say suppose a person might have expertise in front end, back end, DevOps, machine learning. Someone might have interest in only one field, like he is a strong back-end developer. So in those cases we have dynamic requirement, that someone might fill one category, someone might fill in 5 categories. So we need form arrays there. How does this help? So we pass this create method. Inside the create method we actually return a form group, and this again is our, just like we have built form groups for the master form, this is the submaster, say the subgroup in which we would be creating, and it would return this. So we would associate this with some event in the front end, like add skills in our case, and it will trigger this create skill category and would keep on adding the form fields as and when required. So this internally uses these helper functions. It is required for every dynamic form groups. The getter to get the categories as a form array, and add and remove to add new. If we add new, we push a new form group in the form array, and if we want to remove certain, we remove from that index. So this basically creates our basic form building concepts. Next, we would be looking into the file upload strategies. But since our application does not have a backend right now, we have temporarily basis created the the file upload in the local storage, which is not an ideal scenario, but we have done it for demo purpose. So in the next or upcoming videos, we will be adding the Node.js backend to it, and we would further discuss these nuances or file upload stuff in details in there. So from now on, we will may have a mixed kind of stuff where we would discuss the concepts as a whole, not only front end or back end, because now we would be integrating or building the APIs also. So that would be much more interesting. So looking forward for the next video. Until that time, goodbye.